Dedication for War's Embers by Ivor Gurney. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. War's Embers by Ivor Gurney. Dedication. To MMS. Oh, if my wishes were my power, you should be praised as were most fit, whose kindness cannot help but flower. But since the fates have ordered it otherwise, then ere the hour of darkness deaden all my wit. I'll write how all my art was poor, my mind too thought-packed to acquit my debt, and only thanks once more. A few of the poems in this volume have already appeared in print. The Volunteer in the Ward and The Battalion is Now on Rest in The Spectator, The Immortal Hour in the Westminster Gazette, The Day of Victory in the Gloucester Journal, and After Music in the Royal College of Music magazine. The author desires to thank the respective editors for their kind permission to include these poems in the present collection. End of dedication. The Volunteer by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. To A.L.B. I would test God's purposes. I will go up and see what fate he'll give, what destiny his hand holds for me. For God is very secret, slow smiles, but does not say a word that will foreshadow shape of the coming day. Curious am I, curious, and since he will not tell, I'll prove him go up against the naked mouth of hell. And what hereafter? Heaven or Blighty? Oh, if it were! Mere agony, mere pain the price of the returning there. Or nothing, days in mud and slush, then other days. Ay me, are they not all the seas of God, God's ways? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Farm by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. To Mrs. Harvey and Those Others. A creeper-covered house, an orchard near, a farmyard with tall ricks upstanding clear in golden sunlight of a late September. How little of a whole world to remember, how slight a thing to keep a spirit free. Within the house were books, a piano dear to me, and round the house the rooks, haunting each tall elm tree, each sunset crying, calling, clamouring aloud. And friends lived there of whom the house was proud, sheltering with content from wind and storm, them loving gathered at the hearthside warm. O friendly happy crowd! Caress of firelight gave them, touching hair, and cheeks and hands with sombre gleams of love. When day died out behind the lovely bare network of twigs, orchard and elms apart, when rooks lay still in round dark nests above, and peace like cool dew comforted the heart. The house all strangers welcomed, but as strangers kept for ever them apart from its deep heart, that hidden sanctuary of love close guarded. Having too great a honey heap uphoarded of children's play, men's work, likely to let strangers therein. Who knew its stubborn pride, and loved the more the place from web slate roof to cellar floor. Hens clucking, ducks, all casual farmyard din. how empty the place seemed when duty called to harder service its 3 sons than tending brown fruitful good earth there, but all God sending. Above the low barn where the oxen were stalled, the old house watched for weeks the road, to see nothing but common traffic, nothing of its own. It had grown to them so used, so long had known their presences, sheltered and shared sorrow and glee. No wonder it felt desolate and left alone. That must remember, nothing at all forget. My mind how often turned and returned to it, when in queer holes of chance, bedraggled, wet, lousy I lay. To think how by Severn's side a house of steadfastness and quiet pride kept faith to friends when hope of mine had died almost to ash, and never twilight came with mystery and peace and points of flame, save it must bring sounds of my Severn flowing steadily seawards, orange windows glowing bright in the dusk, and many a well-known name. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Omens by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Mapstone. To E.H. Black rooks above the trees are circling slow, tall elms that can no ease nor comfort know, since that the autumn wind batters them before behind, a bitter breeze unkind. They call like tongues of dread, prophesying woe, rooks on the sunset red, not heeding how their clamouring brings near to a woman the old fear for her far soldier dear. That harsh and idle crying of mere annoy tells her how men are dying, and how her boy may lie, his racked thought turning to the home fire on the hearth burning, the last agony be learning. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Eternal Treasure by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Lawley. To H&H. Why think on beauty as forever lost, when fire and steel have worked their evil will? Since beauty lasts beyond decaying dust, and in the after dark is lovely still. We are no phantoms, body is but the case of an immortal flame that does not perish. Can the all-withering power of time outface, since God himself with love that flame does cherish? Take comfort then, and dare the dangerous thing, death flouting with his impotence of wrath, for beauty arms us gainst his envious sting, saves us in any the most perilous path. Come then, O brothers, greet what may befall, with joy, for beauty's maker ordereth all. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Fire in the Dusk by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. When your white hands have lost their fairy power, like dimpling water flash and charm no more, quick pride of grace is still closed your bright eyes. I still must think under those northern skies some influence shall remain of all that sweet, some flower of courage braving Easter sleet, color to stir tears in tenderest skies, music of light, Your autumn beeches shall set passion blazing in a heart, until colour you gave be fashioned in formal line on line. Another's beauty prove divine, and all your wandering grace shall not be lost to earth, being too precious, too great of cost. Last wonder to awake the divine spark, a lovely presence lighting summer's dark. Though dust your frame of flesh, such dust as makes blue radiance of March in hidden breaks, pass from your body then, be what you will, whose light foot walk outdance the daffodil. Since time can but confirm you, and fulfill that hidden crescent power in you. Old Time, spoiler of pride and towers, and breath and rhyme, yet on the spirit impotent of power and will. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Turmut-Hoeing by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org. I straightened my back from Turmut-Hoeing and saw, with suddenly opened eyes, tall trees, a meadow ripe for mowing, and azure June's cloud-circled skies. Below, the earth was beautiful of touch and color, fair each weed, but heaven's high beauty held me still, only of music had I need. And the white-clad girl at the old farm, who smiled and looked across at me, dumb was held by that strong charm of cloud ships sailing a foamless sea. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
In a Ward to J.W.H. by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Joanna Michal Hoyt. O wind that tosses free the children's hair, scatters the blossom of apple and pear, blow in my heart, touch me, gladden me here. You have seen so many things. Blow in and tell tales of white sand and golden gainst the sea swell. Bring me fine meadow thoughts, fresh orchard smell. Here we must stare through glass to see the sun, stare at flat ceilings white till day is done, while you, sunshine, starshine, may out and run. Blow in and bring us all dear home delight, green face of the spring earth, blue of deep night. Blot each of our faces from the other's sight. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Camps by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Lawley. Out of the line, we rest in villages, quiet indeed, where heal the spirit's scars. But even so, lapped deep in sunshine and ease, we are haunted forever by the shapes of wars. Green in the sun they lie, secret, deserted, lovely against the blue the summits show. Where once the bright still sang, the red blood spurted, and brave men cowed their terrors long ago. By day their life was easy, but at night, even now, one hears strange rustlings in the bush, and, straining tensely doubtful ear and sight, the stealthy moving air, the sudden rush, and flinches from the spear, war's just bright embers, that earth still keeps and treasures for the pride, in sacrifice there shown, with love remembers, the beauty and quick strength of men that died, who died as we may die, for freedom, beauty, of common living, calmly led in peace, yet took the flinty road and hard of duty, whose end was life, abundant and increase. But when heaven's gate wide opening receives us, victors and full of song, forgetting scars, shall we see to stir old memories to grieve us, heaven's never yet healed sores of Michal's wars? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Girl's Song by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Erin Stone. The tossing poplar in the wind shows underleaf of silver white. The roughness of the wind unkind torments her out of all delight. But oh, that he were here, whose blows and whose caresses alike were dear. The great oak to the tearing blast stands steady with strong arms held wide. So over him my anger passed, when his rough usage hurt my pride. But oh, that once again I might arouse that passion, endure that pain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Solace of Men by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Sweet smelling, sweet to handle, fair of hue, tobacco is. The soldier everywhere takes it as friend, its friendliness to share. Whether in fragrant wreaths it mount faint blue in dugout low, or surreptitiously to parapet in rimy night from hidden lair of sentry, staying hunger, stilling fear, the old dreams of comfort bringing anew. For from that incense grows the stuff of dreams, and in those clouds a drowsing man may find all that was ever sweet to his starved mind. Heart long denied, dear friends, hills, horses, trees, slopes of brown ploughland, sunsets' fading gleams, the bane of care, the spur to memories. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Day Boys and Choristers by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. To the Boys of King's School, Gloucester, 1900 to 1905. Under the shade of the great tower, where pass the goodly and the wise, year in, year out, winter and summer, with scufflings and excited cries, football rages, not told in pages of fame whereof the wide world hears, a battle of divided empire, the Day Boys and the Choristers. So here's to the room where the dark beams cross over, and here's to the cupboard where hides the cane, the paddock and fives court, great chestnut, tall tower. When Fritz stops his fooling, we'll see them again. Golf balls, tennis balls, cricket and footballs, balls of all sizes and sorts were sent, soaring by wall and arch and ivy, high, high over to banishment. Poor owner that loses, and oh, but the bruises, scars and red hacks to cover the brave, shins of the boldest, when up and down playground, victory surged, victory edged like a wave. So here's to the room where the dark beams cross over, and here's to the cupboard where hides the cane, the paddock and fives court, great chestnut, tall tower. When Fritz stops his fooling, we'll see them again. Little they knew, those boys, how in Flanders and plains of France in another day, a trial dreadful of nerve and sinew for 4 long years should test alway that playtime pluck, that yet should carry them through hell's during worst, and how Europe should honour them, a whole world praise them, though death tore their bodies and laid them low. So here's to the room where the dark beams cross over, and here's to the cupboard where hides the cane, the paddock and fives court, great chestnut, tall tower. When Fritz stops his fooling, we'll see them again. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
At Reserve Depot by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. When spring comes here with early innocency of pale high blue, they'll put reveille back. The passers-by, carelessly amused, will see breakfastless boys killing the patient sack. And there will be maneuvers where the violet shows, hiding its dark fervor, guarding its flame, where I shall lie and stare while the mystery grows huge and more huge, till the sergeant calls my name. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Toasts and Memories by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. To the men of the 2nd 5th Gloucester Regiment. When once I sat in estaminets with trusty friends of mine, we drank to folk in England and pledged them well in wine. While thoughts of Gloucester filled us, roads against windy skies, at sunset Severn River read in blinds country cries that stung the heart with sorrow and barbed sweet delight. At Riez-Belul, Laventi, at Merville many a night. Now I am over Channel, I cannot help but think of friends who stifle longing with friendly food and drink. Where's Gurney now, I wonder, that smoked a pipe all day? Sometimes that talked like blazes, sometimes had naught to say. And I at home must wonder where all my comrades are, those men whose heart of beauty was never stained by war. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
From the Window by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Joanna Michal Hoyt. Tall poplars in the sun are quivering, and plains, forgetting the day gone, its cold on August rains. But with me still remains the sight of beaten corn, crushed flowers and forlorn, the summer's wasted gains. Yet pools and secret lanes abrim with heavenly blue life's wonder mirror anew. I must forget the pains of yesterday, and do brave things, bring loaded wains the bare brown meadows through. I must haste, I must out and run, wonder till my heart drains joy's cup, as in high champagnes of blue, where great clouds go on with white sails free from stains full stretched on fleckless mains, with captain's joy of some proud galleon. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Ypres-Minsterworth by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. To F.W.H. Thick lie in Gloucester orchards now, apples the Severn wind with rough play tore from the tossing branches, and left behind leaves strewn on pastures, blown in hedges, and by the roadway lined. And I lie leagues on leagues afar, to think how that wind made great shoutings in the wide chimney, a noise of cannonade, of how the proud elms by the signpost the tempest's will obeyed. To think how in some German prison a boy lies with whom I might have taken joy full-hearted, hearing the great boom of autumn, watching the fire, talking of books in the half-gloom. O wind of Ypres and of Severn, riot there also, and tell of comrades safe returned, home-keeping, music, and autumn smell. Comfort blow him, and friendly greeting hearten him, wish him well. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Near Midsummer by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Severn's most fair today. See what a tide of blue she pours, and flecked alway with gold, and what a crew of seagulls snowy white float round her to delight villagers, travellers. A brown thick flood is hers in winter, when the rains wash down from midland plains, halting wayfarers, low meadows flooding deep with torrents from the steep mountains of Wales, and small hillocks of no degree, streams jostling to the sea, wrangling, yet brotherly. Blue June has altered all. The river makes its fall with murmurous still sound, past Priding's fairy ground, and steep down Newnham cliff. Oh, boys in trenches, if you could see what any may, escaping town for the day. Strong Severn all aglow, but tideless, running slow. Far Cotswolds all a shimmer, blue Bredon leagues away, huge Malverns farther, dimmer. Then you would feel the fire of the first days inspire you, when despising all save England's honour call, you dared the worst for her, faced all things without fear, so she might stand alway, a free mother of men, high queen as on this day. There would flood through you again the old faith, the old pride, wherein our fathers died, whereby our land was builded and dignified. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Toussaints to J.W.H. by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Joanna Michal Hoyt. Like softly clanging cymbals were plane trees. Poplars autumn had arrayed in gloriously sad garments of beauty wind astir. It was the day of all the dead, Toussaint. In sombre twos and threes between those colored pillars went drab mourners. Full of presences the air seemed, ever and anon rent by a slow bell's solemnities. The past years gloriously dead came. Folk dear to that rich earth had given them sustenance and birth, breath and dreams and daily bread, took labor sweat, returned them mirth. Merville across the plain gleamed white. The thronged still air gave never a sound. Only, monotonous, untoned, the bell of grief and lost delight. Gay leaves slow fluttered to the ground. Sudden that sense of peace and prayer like vapor faded. Round the bend swung lines of khaki without end. Common was water, earth, and air. Death seemed a hard thing not to mend. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Stonebreaker by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. To Dorothy. The early dew was still untrodden, flawless it lay on flower and blade, the last caress of night's cold fragrance, a freshness in the young day made. The velvet and the silver floor of the orchard close was gold inlaid with spears and streaks of early sunlight. Such beauty makes men half afraid. An old man at his heap of stones turned as I neared his clinking hammer. Part of the earth he seemed, the trees, the sky, the 12-hour heat of summer. Fine morning, zur. And the earth spoke from his mouth as if the field dark red on our right hand had greeted me with words that grew tall grain instead. Oh, years ago and near forgot. Yet as I walked the Flemish way an hour gone, England spoke to me as clear of speech as on that day. Since peasants by the roadway working hailed us in tones uncouth, and one turned his face toward the marching column, fronted, took gladness from the sun, and straight my mind was set on singing for memory of a wrinkled face, orchards untrodden, far to travel, sweet to find in my own place.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Drifting Leaves by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by mleigh. The yellow willow leaves that float down Severn after autumn rains take not of trouble any note, lost to the tree its joys and pains. But man that has 1,000 ties of homage to his place of birth, nothing surrenders when he dies, but yearns forever to his earth. Red ploughlands, trees that friended him, warm house of shelter, orchard peace, in days last rosy influence dim, they flock to us without a cease. Through fast-shut doors of olden houses, in soundless night the dear dead come, whose sorrow no live folk arouses, running for comfort hither home. Though leaves untide may idly range, grounding at last on some far mire, our memories can never change. We are bond, we are ruled with love's desire. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Contrasts by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. If I were on the high road that runs to Malvern town, I should not need to read to smoke, my fear of death to drown. Watching the clouds, skies, shadows dappling, the sweet land up and down. But here the shells rush over, we lie in evil holes, we burrow into darkness like rabbits or like moles. Men that have breathed the Severn air, men that have eyes and souls. Today the grass runs over, with ripples like the sea, and men stand up and drink air, easy and sweet and free. But days like this are half a curse, and beauty troubles me. The shadows under orchards there must be as clear and black. At Minsterworth, at Framalode, as though we had all come back. We're out at making hay or tedding, piling the yellow stack. The gardens grow as freshly on Cotswolds green and white. The grey stone cottage colours are lovely to the sight, as we were glad for dreams there, slept deep at home at night. While here we die a dozen deaths, a score of times a day, trying to keep up heart and not to give ourselves away. 2 years longer, peace tomorrow, some time yet, they say.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To F.W.H. by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. Ink black and lustreless may hold a passion full of living fire. Spring's green the autumn does enfold, things precious hide their bright in mire. And the whole county's lovely pride in one small book I found that made more real the pictured Severn side than crash and shock of cannonade. Beneath, more strong than that dread noise, the talk I heard of trees and men, the still low murmuring earth voice, God send us dreams in peace again. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Immortal Hour by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. To Winnie. I have forgotten where the pleasure lay in resting idle in the summer weather, waiting on beauty's power my spirit to sway, since life has taken me and flung me hither. Here, where grey day and day goes dully on, so evenly, so greyly that the heart not notices, nor cares that time is gone that might be jewelled bright and set apart. And yet for all this weight there stirs in me such music of joy, when some perceived flower breaks irresistible this quest, this lethargy. I burn and hunger for that immortal hour, when peace shall bring me first to my own home, to my own hills. I'll climb in vision afar great cloud fleets, line on line up Severn come, where winds of joy shall cleanse the stain of war. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To His Love by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Erin Stone. He's gone, and all our plans are useless indeed. We'll walk no more on Cotswold where the sheep feed quietly and take no heed. His body that was so quick is not as you knew it on Severn River, under the blue, driving our small boat through. You would not know him now, but still he died, nobly, so cover him over with violets of pride, purple from Severn's side. Cover him soon, and with thick-set masses of memoried flowers, hide that red, wet thing I must somehow forget. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Migrants by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by czandra. To Mrs. Taylor. No colour yet appears on trees, still summer fine. The hill has brown sheaves yet, bare earth is hard and set, but autumn sends a sign in this as in other years. For birds that flew alone and scattered sought their food, gather in whirring bands, starlings about the lands, spring cherished, summer made good, dark bird clouds soon to be gone. But above that windy sound, a deeper note of fear. All daylight without cease troubles the country peace. Warbirds, high in the air, airplanes shadow the ground. Seawards to Africa, starlings with joy shall turn. Warbirds to skies of strife, where death is ever at life. High in mid-air may burn great things that trouble day. Their time is perilous, governed by fate obscure. But when our April comes, about the thatch-eaved homes, cleaving sweet air, the sure starlings shall come to us. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Old Martinmas Eve by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. The moon, one tree, one star, still meadows far, enwreathed and scarfed by phantom lines of white. November's night of all her nights, I thought and turned to see again that moon and star-supporting tree. If some most quiet tune had spoken then, some silver thread of sound, a core within that sea-deep silentness, I had not known ever such joy and peace. But sound was none, nor should be till birds rouse to find the dawn. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
After Music by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. Why, I am on fire now, and tremulous with sense of beauty long denied. The first opening of floodgate to the glorious burst of freedom from the fate that limits us to work in darkness, pining for the light, thirsting for sweet untainted draughts of air, clouds sunset-coloured, music. Oh, music's bare white heat of silver passion, fiercely bright. While sweating at the foul task, we can taste no joy that's clean, no love, but something lets it from its power. The wisest soul forgets what's beautiful, or delicate, or chaste. Orpheus drew me, as once his bride, from hell. If wisely, her or me, the gods can tell. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Target by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org. I shot him, and it had to be one of us. 'Twas him or me. Couldn't be helped, and none can blame me, for you would do the same. My mother, she can't sleep for fear of what might be happening here to me. Perhaps it might be best to die, and set her fears at rest. For worst is worst, and worry's done. Perhaps he was the only son, yet God keeps still, and does not say a word of guidance anyway. Well, if they get me, first I'll find that boy, and tell him all my mind, and see who felt the bullet worst, and ask his pardon if I durst. All's a tangle, here's my job. A man might rave, or shout, or sob, and God he takes no sort of heed. This is a bloody mess indeed. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Twigworth Vicarage by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. To A.H.C. Wakened by birds and sun, laughter of the wind, a man might see all heart's desire by raising his pillowed sleepy head, still apt for lazing and drowsy thought. But then a green most kind waved welcome, and the rifted sky behind showed blue, whereon cloud ships full sailed went racing, man to delight, and set his heart on praising the Maker of all things, bountiful hearted, kind. May Hill, half revealed tree-clad thing, Maysmore's delightful ridge, where Severn flowing nourished a wealth of lovely wild things blowing, sweet as the air. Waynloads and Ashelworth to northward showed a land where a great king might sit to receive homage from the whole earth. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Ladies of Charity by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. Hospital Pictures. To the nurses of Ward 24, Bangor War Hospital near Edinburgh. 1. Ladies of Charity. With quiet tread, with softly smiling faces, the nurses move like music through the room, while broken men, known technically as cases, watch them with eyes laid deep in bitter gloom, as though the spring were come with all the graces, or maiden April walked the ward in bloom. Men that have grown forgetful of joy's power, and old before their time, take courtesy so sweet a girl or woman, as if some flower most strangely fair of spring were suddenly thick in the woods at winter's blackest hour, the gift unlocked for lovely Charity. Their anguish they forget, and worse, the slow corruption of joy's springs, now breathe again the free breath was theirs so long ago. Courage renewed makes mock of the old pain. Life's loveliness brings tears and a new glow. Somehow their sacrifice seems not in vain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Dust by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Carrie Adams. Your book voice. Dust. Lying awake in the ward long hours as any must, I wonder where the dust comes from. The dust. The dust that makes their life so hard, the nurses who must rub the soon appearing crust of green on the bright knob, and little bits of fluff dull white upon the floor, most soft, most curious stuff that sidles to the door when no one sees, and makes deep wrinkles and heartbreaks, light sighs and curses rough. Oh, if a scientist of warm and kindly heart should live a while apart, old Satan's tail to twist, pouring on crucibles, vessels uncanny, till he won at last to hell's grand secret of ill will, how fluff comes and how dust. Then nurses all would paint cheeks pretty for his sake, or stay in prayer awake all night for that great saint of cleanliness, that bright, devoted anchorite, brave champion and true knight. And a poem. This recording is in the public domain. Aberdonian by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Carrie Adams. Your book voice. Aberdonian. A soldier looked at me with blue hawk eyes, with kindly glances sorrow had made wise, and talked till all I'd ever read in books melted to ashes in his burning looks. And poets I despise and craft of pen, if, while he told his coloured wonder tales of Glasgow, Ypres, sea mist, spouting whales, alive past words or power of writing men, my heart had not exulted in his brave air of the wild woodland and sea wave, or if, with each new sentence from his tongue, my high triumphing spirit had not sung, as in some April when the world was young. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Companion, Northeast Dugout by Ivor Gurney, read for LibriVox.org by Kerry Adams, your book voice. Companion, Northeast Dugout. He talked of Africa, that fat and easy man. I'd but to say a word, and straight the tales began. And when I'd wished to read, that man would not disclose a thought of harm, but sleep, hard breathing through his nose. Then when I'd wished to hear more tales of Africa, 'twas but to wake him up, and but a word to say, to press the button, and keep quiet, nothing more, for tales of stretching veldt, Kafir, and sullen boar. Oh, what a lovely friend! Oh, quiet, easy life! I wonder if his sister would care to be my wife. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Miner by Ivor Gurney, read for LibriVox.org by Sandra. Indomitable energy, controlled by fate to wayward ends and to half use, he should have given his service to the Muse. To most men shy, to him her humble soldier, frank-hearted, generous, bold. Yet, though his fate be cross, he shall not tire nor seek another service than his own, for selfless valour and the primal fire shine out from him as once from great Ulysses, that king without a throne. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Upstairs Piano by Ivor Gurney, read for LibriVox.org by Erin Stone. O dull, confounded thing, you will not sing, though I distress your keys with thumps, in ecstasies of wrath at some missaid word of the deathless dead. Chopin or dear Mozart, how must it break your heart to hear this beast refuse the choice gifts of the muse, and turn your airy thought with clumsiness to naught. I am guilty too, for I have let the fine thing by, and spoilt high graciousness with a note more or less, whose wandering fingers know not surely where they go, whose mind most weak, most pure, your fire may not endure that's passionate, that's pure. And yet, men pale, late under Passchendaele or some such blot on earth, feel once again the birth of joy in them, and know that beauty's not a show of lovely things long past. And stricken men at last take heart and glimpse the light, grow strong and comforted with eyes that challenge night, with proud poised gallant head and new-born keen delight. Beethoven, Schumann, Bach, these men do greatly lack, and you have greatly given the fervent blue of heaven. They will see with purer eyes Suffering has made them wise. Music shall make them sweet. If they shall see the stars more clearly after their wars, that is a good wage. Yours is a heritage most noble and complete. And if we blind have gone where a great glory shone, or deaf where angels sang, forgive us, for you, too, a little blind, were, knew, of weakness once the pang, of darkness once the fear. And so forgive this dear, pig-hearted chest of strings, and me whose heart not sings, nor triumphs as do yours, within the heavenly doors, walking the clear, unhindered level floors. End of poem. This poem is in the public domain.
Hidden Tales by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Darrell Nobles. The proud and sturdy horses gather their willing forces, unswerving make their courses over the brown earth that was mowing meadow, a month agone, where shadow and light in the tall grasses quivered and was gone. They spoil the nest of plover, and lark turn up, uncover the bones of many a lover, unfamed in tales. Arrows o'er flints of hammers, the rooks with hungry clamors hover around and settle, seeking full meals. Who knows what splendid story lies here with hidden glory of brave defeat or victory this earth might show? None cares. The surging horses gather untiring forces, the keen-eyed farmer after guiding the plow. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Recompense by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. To the men of the 2nd 5th Gloucester Regiment. I'd not have missed one single scrap of pain that brought me to such friends, and them to me. And precious is the smallest agony, the greatest willingly to bear again. Cruel frost, night vigils, death so often ta'en by Golgothas untold from Somme to sea. Duty's a grey thing, friendship valorously rides high above all fortunes without stain. Their eyes were stars within the blackest night of evil's trial. Never mariner did trust so in the ever-fixed star as I in those. And so their laughter sounded, trumpets of victory glittering in sunlight, though hell's power ringed them in, and night surrounded. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Tryst by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Czandra. To W.M.C. In curtain of the hazelwood, from sunset to the clear of star, an hour or more I feared, but stood, my lover's road was far, until within the ferny brake stirred patter feet and silver talk that set all horror wide awake. I fear the fairy folk that bind with chains and change a maid from happy smiling to a thing better in ground unhallowed laid, where holy bells not ring. And whether late he came or soon, I know not. Through a rush of air along the white road under the moon I sped till the golden square showed of the blind lamp lighted. Then my hand on heart I slackened, stood. Though Robin be the man of men, I'll walk no more that wood. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Plain by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org. The plains a waste of evil mire, and dead of colour, sodden grey. The trees are ruined, crumbled the spire that once made glad the innocent day. The host of flowers are buried deep, with friends of mine who held them dear, poor shattered loveliness asleep, dreaming of April's covering there. Oh, if the bringer of spring does care for duty valorously done, then what sweet breath shall scent the air, what colour blaze outbrave the sun? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Rumours of Wars by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. To Mrs. Voynich. On Sussex hills today, women stand and hear the guns at work alway, horribly, terribly clear. The doors shake on the wall, the kitchen vessels move. The brave heart not at all may soothe its tortured love, nor hide from truth, nor find comfort in lies. No prayer may calm all's naught. The mind waits on the throbbing air. The frighted day grows dark, none dares to speak. The gloom makes bright and brighter the spark of fire in the still room. A crazy door shakes free. Dear God, they stand, they stare. A shape eyes cannot see troubles blank darkness there. She knows, and must go pray, numb-hearted by the bed that was his own alway. The throbbing hurts her head. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. On Rest by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. To the men of the 2nd 5th Gloucester Regiment. It's a king's life, a life fit for a king, to lie safe sheltered in some old hay loft, night long on golden straw and warm and soft, unroused, to hear through dreams dawn's thrushes sing, reveille, drowse again, then wake to find the bright sun through the broken tiles thick streaming. Reveille reel, and there's an end to dreaming. Up, boys, and out. Then oh what green, what still peace in the orchard, deep and sweet and kind, shattered abruptly. Splashing water, shout on shout of sport, and cookhouse vessels banging, Dixie against Dixie musically clanging. The farmer's wife searching for eggs, midst all dear farmhouse cries, a stroll, and then breakfast's up. Porridge and bacon, tea out of a real cup, borrowed. First day on rest, a festival of mirth. Laughter in safety, a still air. No whiz-bangs, crumps to fear, nothing to mind. Danger and the thick brown mud behind. An end to wiring, digging, end to care. Now wonders begin. Sergeants with the crowd mix. Corporals, lance corporals, little proud authority forgotten. All goes well in this our commonwealth. With tales to tell, smokes to exchange, letters of price to read, letters of friends more sweet than daily bread. The sergeant major sheathes his claws and lies smoking at length, content deep in his eyes. Officers like brothers chaff and smile, salutes forgotten, etiquette the while. Comrades and brothers all, one friendly band. Now through the orchard, sun-dried of dewfall, in and out the trees the noisy sports begin. He that is proud of body runs, leaps, turns somersaults, hand turns, the licensed jester flings javelins of blunt wit, may bruise not pierce. Ragtimes and any scrap of nonsense sings. All's equal now, it's rest, none cares, none escapes the hurtless bantering of those kindly japes. Noon comes, the estaminets open welcome doors, men drift along the roads in threes and fours, enter those cool pavan rooms and sit waiting. Many are there to serve. Madame forces her way with glasses, all ignores the impatient clamour of that thirsty jam, the outcries, catcalls, queries, doubtful wit alike. Newspapers come. Journal, monsieur? What's the news? Anything fresh, boys? Tell us what's new. Dinner, perhaps a snooze, perhaps a stroll. Tea, letters most like, rations to divide. Third of a loaf, half, if luck's our way. No work, no work, no work. A lovely day. Down the main street men loiter side by side. So day goes on, blue-domed, till the west's afire, with the sun just sunken, though we cannot see, hidden in green, the fall of majesty. Our hearts are lifted up, fierce with desire, but once again to see the ricks, the farms, blue roads, still trees of home, in the rich glow. Life's pageant fading slower and more slow, till peace folds all things in with tender arms. The last stroll in the orchard ends, the last candles are lit in bivvy and barn and cart, where comrades talking lie, comfort at heart, gladder for danger shared in the hard past. The stars grow bright 'gainst heaven's still deepening blue, lights in the orchard die. I wonder how mother is keeping. She must be sleepy now, as we, yet may be wondering all night through. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Dickie, To His Memory, by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Lawley. They found him when the day was yet but gloom. 6 feet of scar clay was ample room, and wide enough domain for all desires, for him whose glowing eyes made mock at lethargies. Were not a moment still, can death or slayer kill the fervent source of those exultant fires? Nay, not so. Somewhere that glow and starry shine so clear astonishes yet the wandering spirits as they come and go, eyes that nor they nor we shall ever forget. Omicord. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Day of Victory by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. To My City. The dull, dispiriting November weather hung like a blight on town and tower and tree. Hardly was beauty anywhere to see, save how fine rain, together with spare last leaves of creepers, once showed wet, as it were, with blood of some high-making passion, drifted slow and slow, but steadily aglow. The city was, beneath its grey and set strong-mooded above the day's inclemency. Flaunting from houses over the rejoicing crowd, flags waved, that told how nation against nation should war no more, their wounds tending a while. The sullen vanquished, victors with heads bowed, and still the bells from the square towers pealed victory. The whole town cried victory. Victory flew banners invisible argent, music intangible, a glory of spirit wandered the wide air through. All knew it. Nothing mean of fire or common ran in men's minds. Nothing so poor but knew some touch of sacred wonder, noble wonder. Thoughts surface moving under, life's texture course transfiguring through and through. Joking, friendly quarrelling, holiday making, eddying hither thither without stay, that concourse went, squibs, crackers, squibbing, cracking, laughter gay. All common jovial noises sounded, bugles triumphing masterful, strident, clear above all, hail fellow, catcall, yet one discerned a new spirit learnt of pain, some great acceptance out of hard endurance learned, and truly rested bare of hand from fate. The soldier from his body slips the pack, staggers, relaxes, crouches, then lies back, glad for the end of torment. Here was more. A sense of consummation undeserved, desire fulfilled beyond dreams, completion humbly accepted. A proud and grateful nation took the reward of purpose had not swerved, but steadily before saw out, with equal mind, through alternation of hope and doubt, a 4-year purge of fire, changing with sore travail the flawed spirit, cleansing desire. And glad was I, glad, who had seen by psalm and anchor too many comrades lie. It was as if the women's spirit moved that multitude, never of man that pays so lightly for the treasure of his days. Of some woman that too greatly had beloved, yet willing, half her care of life foregone, best half of being losing with her son, beloved, beautiful, born of agony one. The dull skies wept still, drooped suddenly, flags all, no triumph there. Belgium, the stars and stripes, Gaul, Italy, Britain, assured mistress, queen of the sea, forlorn colours showed, rags glory bare. Night came, starless, to blur all things over, that strange assort of life, sister and lover, brother, child, wife, parent, each with his thought, careless or passioned, of those who gave their frames of flesh to cover from spoil their land and folk, desperately fashioned fate stubborn to their will. Rain fell, miserably, miserably, and still the strange crowd clamoured till late, eddied, clamoured, mixed, mused, drifted, the day of victory. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Passionate Earth by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by mleigh. To J.W.H. Where the new-turned plowland runs to clean edges of sudden grassland, lovely green. Music, music clings, music exhales, an inmost fragrance of 1,000 tales. There the heart lifts, the soul takes flight to sing. High at heaven gate, but loath for entering, lest there such brown and green it never find, nor feel the sting of such a beauty left so far behind. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Poplar by Ivor Gurney, read for LibriVox.org by Sandra. To Mickey, a tall, slim poplar that dances in a hidden corner of the old garden. What is it in you makes communion with this wind of autumn, the clouds, the sun? You must be lonely amidst round trees with their matron figures and stubborn knees, casting hard glances of keen despite on the lone girl that dances silvery white. But you are dearer to sky and earth than lime trees, plane trees of meaner birth. Your sweet, shy beauty dearer to us than tree folk, worthy, censorious. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Down Commercial Road, Gloucester, by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. To my mother. When I was small and packed with tales of desert islands far, my mother took me walking in a grey, ugly street. But there the sea wind met us with a jolly smell of tar. A sailor man went past to town with slow rolling gait, and Gloucester she's famous in story. The trees and shining sky of June were good enough to see, better than books or any tales the sailor men might tell. But topsail spars against the blue made fairyland for me. The snorting tug made surges like the huge Atlantic swell. And Gloucester she's famous in story. Then thought I how much better to sail the open seas than sit in school at spelling books or sums of grocery wares. And I'd have knelt for pity at any captain's knees to go see the banyan tree or white Arctic bears. And Gloucester she's famous in story. Oh, Gloucester men about the world that dare the seas today, remember little boys at school a-studying their best to hide somehow from mother and get clear away to where the flag of England flies prouder than the rest. And Gloucester she's famous in story. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
From Omi-Court by Ivor Gurney, read for LibriVox.org by Sandra. O small, dear things for which we fight, red roofs, ricks crowned with early gold, orchards that hedges thick enfold, O visit us in dreams tonight, who watch the stars through broken walls and ragged roofs, that you may be still kept our own and proudly free while Severn from the Welsh height falls. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Le Coq Francais by Ivor Gurney, read for LibriVox.org by Sandra. To Ronald. After the biting cold of the outer night, it seemed, Le Coq Francais, a palace of light, and its low roof, black-timbered, was most fine after the iron and sandbags of the line. Easy it was to be happy there, Madame frying a savoury mess of eggs and ham, talking the while of the war, of the crops, her son who should see to them, and would when the war was done, of battalions who had passed there. Happy as we to find a house so clean, such courtesy, simple, sincere. After vigils of frost, the place seemed the seventh heaven of comfort. Lost in miraculous strange peace and warmth, we'd sit till the prowling police hunted us out of it, away from café noir, café au lait, vin blanc, vin rouge, citron, all that does belong to the kindly shelter of old estaminets, nooked and cornered with mirth of firelight ablaze, herded us into billets, where candles must show little enough comfort after the steady glow of that wonderful fireshine. We must huddle us close in blankets, hiding all but the crimson nose, to think a while of home, if the frost would let thought flow at all, then sleep to forget all but home and old rambles, lovely days of maiden April, glamorous September haze, all darling things of life, the sweet of desire, castles of Spain in the deep heart of the fire. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Fisherman of Newnham by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. To my father. When I was a boy at Newnham, for every tide that ran swift on its way to Bolo, I wished I were a man to sail out and discover where such a tide began. But when my strength came on me, 'tis I must earn my bread. My father set me fishing by Frampton Hock, instead of wandering to the ocean wherever Severn led. And now I've come to manhood, too many cares have I, to think of gallivanting, a wife and child forby. So I must wander ever, until time comes to die. Then I shall question Peter upon the heavenly floor. What makes the tide in rivers? How comes the Severn bore? And all things he will tell me I never knew before. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Lock Keeper by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by mleigh. To the memory of Edward Thomas. A tall, lean man he was, proud of his gun, of his garden and small fruit trees every one, knowing all weather signs, the flight of birds, farther than I could hear the falling thirds of the first cuckoo. Able at digging, he smoked his pipe ever furiously, contentedly. Full of old country tales his memory was, yarns of both sea and land, full of wise saws, in rough fine speech, sayings his father had, that worked a 12-hour day when but a lad. Handy with timber, nothing came amiss to his quick skill, and all the mysteries of sail-making, net-making, boat-building were his. That dark face lit with bright bird eyes, his stride, manner most friendly, courteous, stubborn pride. I shall not forget, nor yet his patience with me, unapt, though many a far league hence. I'll travel for many a year, nor ever find a winter night companion more to my mind, nor one more wise in ways of Severn River, though her villages I search for ever and ever. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Revelers by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Steve Nelson. I saw a silver bright shield hang entangled in the topmost boughs of an old elm tree, and a house dreaming, the while a small stream sang a tune of broken silver by, and laughed and wondered at the sky. 1,000,000 silver lamps dared the bright moon of stars. Oh, who, wandering that silver quiet through, might heed the river mists, dew damps, All heaven exalted, but earth lay breathless, entranced in peace alway. From the orange-windowed tavern near, a song some ancient lover had, when stars and longing made him mad, fashioned from wonder at his dear, rang out, yet none there moves a limb to see such stars as passioned him. The loath moon left the twigs and gazed full-fronted at the road. The stream, that all but tiniest tunes a dream stilled, held breath at last amazed. The farmers from their revel came, but no stars saw, and felt no flame. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Annie Laurie to H.N.H. by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox by Peter Keeble. The high barn's lit by many a guttering flare of flickering candle, dangerous, hence forbidden. The warm soft straw whereby the cold floor's hidden, on which we shall soon rest without a care. War is forgotten, gossip fills the air, of home and laughter sounds beyond the midden, under the stars where youth makes joy unhidden, of gods or men and mocks at sorrow there. But hark, what sudden pure untainted passion seizes us now and stills the garrulous, a song of old immortal dedication to beauty's service and one woman's heart. No tears we show, no sign of flame in us, the hour of stars and music set apart. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Battalion is now on rest by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. To La Comtesse. Walking the village street to watch the stars and find some peace like the old peace, some soothe for soul and mind. The noise of laughter strikes me as I move on my way towards England, westward, and the last glow of day. And here is the end of houses. I turn on my heel and stay where those voices a moment made me feel as I were on Cotswold, with nothing else to do than stare at the old houses, to taste the night dew, to answer friendly greetings from rough voices kind. Oh, one may try forever to be calm and resigned. A red blind at evening sets the poor heart on fire, or a child's face a sunset with the old hot desire. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Photographs to Two Scots Lads by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Peter Keeble. Lying in dugouts, joking idly, wearily watching the candle guttering in the draught, hearing the great shells go high over us, eerily singing, how often I have turned over and laughed with pity and pride. Photographs of all colours, all sizes, subjects, khaki brothers in France, or mothers' faces worn with countless dolors, or girls whose eyes were challenging and must dance. Though in a picture only a common cheap ill-taken card, and children frozen, some babies, waiting on Dickybird to peep out of the handkerchief that is his home. But he's so shy, and some with bright looks calling delight across the miles of land and sea, that not the dread of barrage suddenly falling could quite blot out, not mud nor lethargy. Smiles and triumphant careless laughter Oh, the pain of them, wide earth's most sacred things, lying in dugouts, hearing the great shells slow, sailing mile high. The heart mounts higher and sings. But once, oh, why did he keep that bitter token of a dead love? That boy who suddenly moved, showed me, his eyes wet, his low talk broken, a girl who'd better had not been beloved. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
That County by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. Go up your ways of varying love. Take each his darling path wherever lie the central fires of secret memory. Whether Helvellyn's tower the lakes above, or black Plinlimmon time and tempest prove, or any English heights of bravery, I will go climb my little hills to see Severn and Malvern's Mayhill's tiny grove. No Everest is here, no peaks of power astonish men, but on the winding ways, white in the frost time, blinding in full June blaze, a man may take all quiet heart's delight. Village and quarry, taverns, and many a tower that saw Armada beacons set alight. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Interval by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Peter Keeble. To straight the back, how good! To see the slow dispersed cloud flocks of heaven wandering blind without a shepherd. Feel caress the kind sweet August air, soft drifting to and fro. Meadow and arable, leaning on my hoe, I search for any beauty eyes might find. The tossing wood showed silver in the wind. Green hills drowsed wakeful in the golden glow. Yet all the air was loud with mutterings, rumours of trouble, strange in that rich peace, where war's dread birds must practise without cease, all that the stoutest pilot heart might dare. Death over dreaming life managed his wings, droning dull song in the sun-satiate air. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
De Profundis by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. If only this fear would leave me, I could dream of Crickley Hill, and 100,000 thoughts of home would visit my heart in sleep. But here the peace is shattered all day by the devil's will, and the guns bark night long to spoil the velvet silence deep. Oh, who could think that once we drank in quiet inns and cool, and saw brown oxen trooping the dry sands to slake their thirst at the river flowing, or plunged in a silver pool to shake the sleepy drowse off before well awake. We are stale here. We are covered body and soul and mind with mire of the trenches, close clinging and foul. We have left our old inheritance, our paradise behind, and clarity is lost to us, and cleanness of soul. O blow here, you dusk airs and breaths of half light, and comfort despairs of your darlings that long night and day for sound of your bells, or sight of your tree-bordered lanes, land of blossom and song. Autumn will be here soon, but the road of colored leaves is not for us, the up and down highway where go earth's pilgrims to wander where Malvern upheaves that blue emerald splendor under great clouds of snow. Some day we'll fill in trenches, Level the land and turn once more joyful faces to the country where trees bear thickly for good drink, where strong sunsets burn huge bonfires of glory. O God, send us peace. Hard it is for men of moors or fens to endure exile and hardship, or the northland grey drear. But we of the rich plain, of sweet airs and pure, O death would take so much from us, how should we not fear? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Tower by Ivor Gurney. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. To M.H. On the old road of Roman, on the road of chivalry and pride, the path to Wales, famed in the chronicles and full of tales, westward I went, songs in my mouth, and strode, free-bodied, light of heart, past many a heaped waggon with golden load, and rumbling carrier's cart. When near the bridge where snorting trains go under, with noise of thunder, I turned and saw a tower stand like an immortal law. Permanent past the reach of time and change, yet fair and fresh as any flower wild blown, as delicate, as fair, as any highest tiny cloudlet sown, faint in the upper air. Fragile yet strong, a music that vision seemed. Though all the land was fair, let the eye range whither it will, on plain or hill, it must return where white the tower gleamed, wonderful, irresistible, bubble bright in the morning light. And then I knew why men must choose rather the dangerous path of arms than let beauty be broken that is God's token, the sign of Him. Why hearts of courage forget aught but the need supreme to follow honour and the perilous thing, scorning death's sting, knowing man's faith not founded on a dream. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. End of War's Embers by Ivor Gurney.